What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. Today, we will be talking about the Malcom Jenkins comments on Carson Wentz and the Eagles, and also talking about the Nick Sirianni introductory press conference. But before we get into them two topics, if you haven't done it, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn post notifications on as well. And for those who've been rocking with the Philly Talk Podcast, smash that like button for your boy. Let's see if we can get this over 200 likes. Greatly appreciate it. With all that being said, let's get into today's topic. And we're going to start with the Malcom Jenkins comments on Carson Wentz. So, he was on the Rich Eisen show yesterday. And again, shout out to my guy, Be More Careful, a channel member who actually sent this to me on Twitter. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you do. You can DM me anytime about Eagles, Sixers, or just anything. And maybe we end up talking about it on this podcast. But shout out to Be More Careful. So, Malcom Jenkins on the Rich Eisen show, and he talked about a couple different things. Drew Brees and the quarterback situation for the New Orleans Saints, minority coaches throughout the league, how many got hired, was it a good amount, all that stuff. And lastly, Carson Wentz and the ongoing saga of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I will say this before we listen to it. I think this was the most realist statement by Malcom Jenkins. He said some good things about Carson. He also said some good things about the Eagles organization and their leadership there. I didn't put everything in this podcast, well, the recorded voice part, because I can't have the whole episode. It's a long one, well, maybe 10 minutes of Eagle stuff. So I will have the link in the description if you didn't listen to the video to go back and listen to it all. But we will listen to the part where he critiques Carson Wentz and the Eagles coaching staff, and then we'll give our take. Let's listen to it.
So again, you know, as a fan of the Eagles, you do, however, have quite a unique perspective. And one more follow-up on this. Is there an issue with Wentz in that locker room? We keep on hearing about it. You were there when there was a magazine article locally that came out, said there was a big problem with Wentz and players in that locker room. Is there an issue?
Well, I think, you know, as a teammate and friend of Carson's, I think that, you know, it always starts right with performance. And he hadn't performed up to, I think, the expectations that everybody's had for him. And I don't think he would say he's played up to his own expectations. But some of the other issues that I felt, you know, when I was in the locker room was just that, you know, there was just too much leeway, and it didn't make him a better player. I don't think they did him any favors by, you know, trying to kind of protect his ego or trying to, you know, just really protect him as a player, as opposed to keeping it just like every other player. It's like keeping it performance based and really being, you know, real about what he needed to improve on, but also adjusting to put him in places that, you know, that can make him successful.
Real quick, another thing, see? So as much as he's giving it to Carson Wentz, like, man, he got too much leeway and he started to run away with it, coaching didn't put him in the right position to succeed, and it was just a battle back and forth. That's why, what was the biggest take I had all through last year's season? All through the 2020 season, it's 50% Carson, 50% Doug. I understand Doug Peterson's play calling was bad, and so was the situational football. He didn't run the ball. He didn't roll Carson Wentz out. He did a lot of things to hinder Carson Wentz's game, but also Carson Wentz was doing it himself. Bad mechanics, not putting the work in, it looked like out there, missing reads, missing open guys. These are things that are beyond Doug Peterson's control. I honestly believe it was a 50-50 issue with these two guys, and that's why they could never get on the right page. And once the leadway got too far, you could never reel Carson Wentz back in. And so not being able to reel Carson Wentz back in created a big wall between Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson. He didn't call plays to help him, and Carson Wentz didn't put in the extra work to get better for anything that he was doing wrong throughout the season. It's ugly. It's disgusting, and that's why I'm glad one of these guys had to go. Was it the right decision by keeping Carson Wentz over Doug? I don't know. We will find out. But Carson Wentz is going to be on a short leash with this new coaching staff because we saw what he did poorly with Doug Peterson. and it's going to be up to Nick Sirianni to put him in a better situation. But you can't fail and blame two different coaching staffs. There's nobody really left over from the Doug Peterson era. So if Carson Wentz is still getting blamed for the same things, it's 100% him, and he's just not coachable. And then we'll have to go the proper way, whether it be releasing him, cutting him, trading him, all that good stuff. But let's finish the little interview from Malcom Jenkins.
And I think, that's a little bit on the coaching staff. That's also some onus on the player. Like, every player should go into every offseason evaluating what they did well, what they didn't do well, and you look to see improvement year after year. But if that's not the case and you don't see it and there are no changes and it's not being addressed, then I know, like, as a player, you almost feel like, what are we doing? You're to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is insanity. And unfortunately, I think that a little bit of that has, taken place over the last few years. And obviously, this offseason shows that something had to change in a major way. And Carson's still there. And so he's still, regardless of who they bring in for, to coach him and get him better, he's still going to have to improve as a player in order for that team to have success.
Hey, there you go. Malcom Jenkins said it, and I think it was the perfect way, not really slandering Carson Wentz's name or Doug Peterson and the coaching staff. He pretty much said they were not on the same page. As much as it's Carson Wentz's fault, it's the coaching staff's fault. And that's why one of them had to go. Like I said, I was saying it was 50-50 all last season, and some people were saying, but do you see Doug's play calling? And other people were saying, well, do you see Carson Wentz missing wide open receivers? It comes to the lead way, which is on coaching, and the player taking advantage of it. Simple and plain. To be the best in the NFL, you can't be complacent. Carson Wentz got complacent and he regressed. The talent is still deep inside. Can we get the next coach to bring it out? And that's what we're going to see. And if Carson Wentz thinks he's going to be bossing Nick Sirianni around, well, then guess what? Jeff Lurie, Howie Roseman, and Doug, and whoever created this monster, has going to have to get rid of it, because every player has to fall in line with the coach, and that is simple and plain. I don't care if it's a 10-year coach or a 1-year coach. That's how you succeed in the NFL. It's the ultimate team sport, from coach to every single player on that field. You got to be willing to run through a wall for your coach and your quarterback, and I don't think that happens when you got a guy who's entitled and privileged and doesn't want to fight for his spot. So Carson Wentz has a short leash. I know we have some young pieces. We've been injured a lot, a brand new coaching staff, and if you're growing with a player, you want to give him time with this new coaching staff. But how much more time can you give to a 5th-year quarterback who has been showing he's not coachable? And if you get a new coaching staff in here, you really can't blame the staff. You can't say, well, Carson Wentz is just getting treated badly again through this new staff. They're not doing what he needs to do. It can't be said 2 times in a row. So I think this is really going to show, is Carson the guy for Philadelphia or is he not? I'm not going to say it's going to be successful or not, because I do believe there's talent behind all this drama that Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles are going through, but we will see. Week 1 through 5, we will know, how does this quarterback respond to everything that's been going on, the silence, the criticism, and the fact that we have a new coaching staff. Are you willing to put the work in, and are you coachable? We'll know in the first couple games if Carson Wentz is coachable. And who knows? Maybe he doesn't play for the Eagles. Maybe he still wants out because the relationship is even fractured with Howie or Jeffrey. I don't know. But talking about this was the most realist version of the Carson Wentz drama. I think Malcom just gave it 100%. 50-50 blame. We'll see where it goes from there. Now, let's talk about this Nick Sirianni press conference, because a lot of people are blown out of proportion talking about that clip. I think Adam Lefko is the one who retweeted it. It has like 1 million views, about Nick Sirianni saying, we need to be a smart football team. And to be smart, we need to learn a system. And to learn a system, we need to do the system. And then if we do all that, we don't have to think. And people are like, how can you be smart and not have to think? And blah, 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 blah. He was nervous. He was really saying some of the things he said yesterday or 2 days ago in a one-on-one press conference with Dave Spadaro, but he was saying it wrong. He means by being smart, getting the system down, You will react instead of hesitate and think. He said it wrong. He was mixing up his words. He was nervous. First time head coach in a city where the media will eat you up and spit you out. He was nervous. You can't blame the guy for being nervous. But at the end of the day, he was trying to say we need to be a master and smart at our system, so where we don't have to think, it's just a reaction and we can show the talent. I like his X and O parts of talking about football. Yes, he was blah, 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 a little bit, moving his hands a little nervous, but we all do that. You know, the YouTubers who just start, you're a little bit nervous on camera. I still get all jittery and messed up because I just can't speak. But at the end of the day, some people know football, and the way he's going to maximize these guys' strength, his philosophy on we don't know what we're going to run until we see these guys. I work different with Phillip Rivers, Jacoby Brissett, and Andrew Luck, and that's what I want to do. And of course, the question about Jalen Hurts or Carson Wentz, he can't answer it. The ownership don't want him to answer it because we don't know what we're doing with these guys. We don't even know what Carson Wentz wants. So how can you go out there and say Carson Wentz is going to be the starter and Carson Wentz is like, well, I still want out. You don't know. We don't know. But whoever is the starter for the Philadelphia Eagles, I do believe he's going to be able to put them in a successful system. Just the way I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. We will find out soon enough. But real quick, Doug Peterson, a Super Bowl champion. Do we all remember the water bottle? Do we remember it? Let's look at it. Wow.
Do either you, whether it's the coaching staff or the personnel staff, feel like you should bring in a senior
You see this?
or someone on the offensive side to come in and look at the team and bring a different perspective to that process?
I mean, for the personnel staff?
For personnel and for,
Yeah.
for
So on the personnel
Really,
staff,
bro?
we have
Really, bro?
We have Tom Donahoe, who's been a GM for a long time. I would say our front office, I say this, I'm extremely prideful in our front office. I think we have a great front office. We lost obviously a GM candidate in Joe Douglas.
Anyways, that's wild. And remember, this was after the Super Bowl in the process of, are you going to fire Mike Groh that whole off season? But with all that being said, that's all I got for today. Nick Sirianni deserves a chance. WIP and all these Twitter people, stop ripping the guy. Let's see what he does preseason. Week 1, week 5. Y'all already saying this guy is going to be fired. Stop it with the nonsense. Simple and plain. With all that being said, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section about Malcom Jenkins' comments. Do you think it's real? Will Carson Wentz show that with a new coaching staff he can take over? Or will we eventually have to go a different route? And let me know your thoughts on Nick Sirianni. Did you like the press conference? I really did like everything. He was a little nervous. I don't like the 53-man roster control that Howie's going to have. At least he does have the 47 to 48 people he can control for now at least. But we will see. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. Until next time, you know what time it is.